Elden Ring is like a Dark Souls, except at the beginning of the game, they give you a horse. Then, they immediately take the horse away for like every major fight in the entire game. Bummer. But Loretta is the ultimate horse girl, bringing her horse to places the Tarnished can't. How strong would she be without the horse? After all, she's a carrion knight using a somber weapon that scales off of 3 stats, has a generic Ash of War you could put on any other weapon locked onto it, and spams carrion sword sorceries in the offhand. It's been so long since we've had a build like that, if you think a week is a long time. Hey everybody, this video is sponsored by Squarespace. If you don't want to wait a week for the next episode, maybe join the Patreon. We have exclusive videos over there for you to check out, full episodes on more niche characters that might not exactly make the algorithm happy. Speaking of, liking the video, sharing it with your friends, subscribing, and leaving a nice comment helps us grow, but only the nice comments. Oh, and it would be really nice if you had joined us on Twitch. The DLC is coming out. Don't you want to put me on your second monitor while you play on your first monitor? Now, let's get started with a horse girl. Hopefully this is a stable build. We're starting this on the shoulders of the soldier of Radahn because it was the highest level character I had done, and I only want the best for Loretta. Loretta. Look at her. Isn't she lovely? You know, maybe we need to go see the Moon Mother. Though I've never seen Loretta without any armor, maybe she really does look like HGH Ed Sheeran. But I feel like a horse girl would be pretty pasty somehow, despite their main hobby being outdoors. Actually, as a horse girl, I would bet grooming is her main hobby. That's a homophone, everyone. Thank God Renala isn't homophonic and will trans our gender that we may begin this journey comfortably. EG sells us some stones, and that's great because we already have Loretta's Sickle. This thing really puts the sick in Sickle. Wait a second. Is this the Guardian Sword Spear moveset? It is, Stream Phil, it sure is. Oh, but this one's about a foot longer than the Guardian Sword Spear. Lore time. Originally given for service as a personal guard to carrion royalty, the weapon's blue glintstone has been replaced with unalloyed gold. I mean, you can't spell Loretta without lore, am I right? And yeah, this is 2 weeks in a row of carrion royal guards.
Big whoop, wanna fight about it?
At least she defected to the Haligtree. This will perform much differently than that one too. Our armor comes from the Round Table Hold, literally just cash in the money we got from killing Malenia. More Etta, Loretta. Loretta, once a royal carrion knight, went on a journey in search of haven for the Albinaurics, and determined that the Haligtree was their best chance for eventual salvation. Loretta was once a carrion knight, and her lapis lazuli blue cape is the emblem of knightly pride that continues to guide her. So she bailed on the Carrions to help the Albinaurics. That's fair. The Carrions have a whole lot of support. The Albinaurics have blood that's really valuable and also stops them from running away from poachers. Not the best combo. All that being super easy to grab means we can just run around the overworld grabbing somber stones to level things up. For the somber 10, we have to fight Anastia in the consecrated snowfield. Well, I mean, we don't have to, but given the choice between her and a sanguine noble in Mogwin, I think I'll go for this. Turns out Loretta Slash is really good at catching NPCs. They don't really have a way to handle it, and that's all we need. Okay, stabs. Can I be honest? Spells aren't good. If I build to use the spells, I'll just make the halberd worse, you know? Because like then we'd really need to crank dex and intelligence. Meteorite stick, yep, okay, meteorite stick, sure. Yeah, so the halberd scale is almost exactly the same between strength, dexterity, and intelligence.
Hey, I've seen this one, this is a classic.
That means with C scaling, the actual stat scaling will be lower, and it would be best to get them all about 40 before cranking anything much higher. But splitting it up like that would be less than ideal for the spells, like I said last week. Spell enjoyers have corrected me and told me that all the casting builds were bad because I didn't invest in dexterity. So naturally, I took that criticism to heart. In the last video, I pointed that out and said I wish we didn't have to invest in dexterity for spells to be good. Well, good news. Spell enjoyers have been lying to the other spell enjoyers because, you know, so the casting is going to be good without specifically investing in it. That's what we're saying. So if I just build for the halberd, it's all going to be okay, and the spells Loretta uses will still be good. And if the numbers look worse again, I'll just lie and say they're good. Anyway, we're done with setup. Wow. That was fast. Almost as fast as setting up your website with today's sponsor, Squarespace. I've always found it strange that the equestrians in the Olympics get medals, but their horses don't. The horse did all the work. The equestrians just got to do a fun horsey ride. Well, Squarespace Blueprint is like a horse for you in building your website because it does all the hard stuff, setting you up with a professionally designed template and then giving you style options so you just have to look and choose the one that fits you best. Squarespace might deserve a gold medal, but they think helping you set up the perfect website is reward enough. Also, website building is not a category in the Olympics, despite my many letters. Like I said, when you're building a website with Squarespace, you just get to have fun. That's what I did with On Your Work Computer, a silly little idea I was able to whip up in an afternoon, pulling a prank on the middle managers. Much like a horse will deliver you to the finish line, Squarespace will deliver your products to your customers. That's because Squarespace handles product shipping and inventory for you. You don't have to worry about it. Maybe what you're shipping is medals for well-deserving horses. Now forget the dog and pony show around payments. They don't have to be complicated with Squarespace. Squarespace will let your customers pay with Apple Pay, credit cards, PayPal, and even Afterpay and ClearPay if you want them to be able to pay later and get the product now. So you should race on over to squarespace.com and get started with a free trial today. Then when you're ready to publish, go to squarespace.com/tulokmango and enter offer code tulokmango at checkout for 10% off your first website or domain. Again, that's squarespace.com/tulokmango, offer code tulokmango at checkout for 10% off. Now let's get back to Loretta and see if New Game Plus goes faster on horseback. I'll be honest, I forgot you lose the rune arc when you start New Game Plus, so we're in heavy load right away. Take the hands off. Spam the slash against that scion. It works fine. The super armor's pretty nice. We're in heavy load for a reason. This armor is thick, and not just in the defense category. Loretta has a bit of a dumpy. Wow, we're in Limgrave and already have a horse, but we still have to talk to Melina or she won't let us turn our runes into strength, or dex, or intelligence, or endurance, or vigor, any stat. Really, Margit is more of a fight than the grafted scion, but so are most birds in the game. I start off trying to slash, but that's kind of just a great way to take damage. The R1s are really where it's at. Still learning that. Also, the damage isn't all that great at the moment, but Godric's Great Rune's just up the road. That'll effectively give us 15 levels of pure damagey goodness. Really wish we could use the pony on the danger path, though, come to think of it, New Game Plus Torrent doesn't get any more health, so he'd probably just die. Alright, Godric, what do you got? Get the slash, avoid his smash. Once he starts hacking away at his own hand, we switch to R1s, 2 fully charged attacks. As he enters stage 2, we're not going to be using the charged attacks because charged attacks on a halberd are pretty bad. Hey, dude, where's my stance break? Ah, there it is. Cool. We won. And if we can beat Godric, we can do anything. Kind of a joke, but also kind of not. When your build's stat distribution wants middling amounts of everything, Godric's Grey Rune's a godsend. C scaling in 3 stats might seem demanding, but it really just means you can stop scaling at like 40? So we stopped at 35 on our official levels to get the most out of the Great Rune. We'll scale it all up later as we get more stuff, but it's actually not all that bad. Gostok is still alive.
I can fix that.
These NG Plus runs just fly by. Welcome to Liurnia. Smaragd can get smacked. It's got big magic resist, but apparently this Sickle has fine physical damage too. Dang, like, it's really doing fine here. The reach is just so nice. I'm not gonna whiff at all this run, or at least, hopefully, not as often. Speaking of magic damage though, I did realize we never grabbed the magic boosting physic tier. On the way, we'll save all of Middle Earth by hitting 6 guys with a big stick. Then we'll go toe-to-toe with an Erdtree avatar. It's easy. Must have really weak toes or something. Roots, in his case, I guess. I know I just mentioned toes, but please keep it classy, like the classes at the Raya Lucaria Academy. Red Wolf of Radahn, that's not a horse. It's also not alive anymore. Hey, look, it's that guy from last week. Can he parry Loretta's slash?
Not this time.
Now, Loretta has 80% magic resistance. Will we be able to one-cycle phase 1?
This time.
Phase 2, I'm getting in there and going ham. When she brings out a bunch of dogs, I'm livid. Those aren't horses. Hit the slash again, body them all with one attack. absolutely hilarious. Former boss is so easy, but thanks for transing our gender earlier. That was really cool of you. Nerd juice is easy. Batches is easy. We just want 3 extra pickles, and it's a pretty easy way to get it. NPCs just fall to Loretta's slash so quickly. It's another fantastic tool for destroying them if you hate that type of fight. I hate that type of fight. Now we can imagine horses in Fortnite. Y'all, I've actually played Fortnite now. I did a charity live stream to raise money for Cancer Research Institute. Fortnite's fun. I might have even gotten a victory royale, but I also might want to make that a video later, so I might be keeping that quiet. Who knows if I got a victory royale? Pretend I didn't say that. In the Dragon Barrel, I decide Grail can get it, if only to get some real value out of those pickles we picked up with Patches. Patches picked a pack of pickled peppers. It's worth more because we can run down to the Erdtree avatar in less than 3 minutes and beat that, and then boost the runes we get from that too. That's efficiency. Right up the hill, we can scoop up the other Dectus piece from Fort Pharaoh, then ride down to Celia and further down to the impassable Great Bridge. Just gotta grab that grace before we dip into Altus and activate party mode. Even more efficiency. Loretta does seem like the type to bring a checklist to a party to make sure everyone is recreating to their maximum potential. That's her version of recreating. Radahn time, and I decide we'll do the whole fight on horseback. Now, riding on horseback makes some attacks harder to dodge. It slows down your attacks. You really gotta change the way you fight a boss, getting into your head how they move, how you move, how the horse moves. It's Radahn, so I guess also how his horse moves and how the summoned squad moves. It's over? Oh.
Wow, that was fast.
Starting to suspect that maybe Loretta's Sickle, pretty good. Halberds in general might just be pretty good. Someone pointed out on the Carrion Knight video that a regular longsword with Carrion Grandeur can get a cold infusion and just be a better version of the Carrion Knight sword. That is fully true. It is also true that you could put Loretta's slash on a cold Naginata and it would be the same thing but with bleed and cold. I guess that's a spear, not a halberd, but it's basically the same thing. Radahn crashed into the ground.
Wow. What a hole.
2 Home Alone 2 clips in a row? Weird coincidence. Actually, sometimes when I'm looking for a clip, I'll find another clip and I'll be like, oh, I could use that later. This is just one of those times, and it just usually happens to have a bigger break in the video. This was just fast. I love Loretta boss fights, and thanks to the Mimic tier, we can have 3 Loretta fights in one game. This one's not on a horseback, and it doesn't have any methods of doing damage. Really goes to show how hard the horse is carrying her, literally. Lights get lit, mooses get moosed? Not much to say about this one. It's like Richard III, because I'd give up my kingdom for a horse. And because, like all Shakespeare, it's boring. Sorry, theater fans. That's not fair. Shakespeare isn't all boring. All theater is boring. You memorized an entire script to perform for 100 people one time? You have to run all around, shout so everyone can hear you, and half the people can't even see what's happening? Dog, get a video camera. Skill issue. Make a movie. We can't go any further without beating the optional Ranni side quest that is mandatory, so let's head back to Carrion Manor. This Loretta is marginally harder than the one without a horse or a weapon, but hey, why can't I bring my horse?
The horse was only holding me back. Oh, wait. I forgot she does glint blade stuff.
Yeah, so sometimes I just kind of forget stuff. I remembered her big bow spells, which I don't like. I mean, wait, no, I do like them. They're really good and perfect. No notes. No issues with them and no issues with running up and down Ranni's tower to talk to everyone. We have to get Celavis to die, and we need a staff with which to cast Carrion sorceries. The Carrion staff is in a tower in Liurnia, just guarded by one Burger King. Seems kind of weird, unceremonious even. Killing Celavis is weirdly easy. You just go grab a dagger underground, give it to Ranni, and she takes care of it. No more Celavis, no body, just a bell bearing where he used to be. Now we could do this without killing Celavis by helping him by doing his quest.
I don't want that.
Carrion phalanx acquired, and we even have a staff to boost the damage by 15%. It will do great. Surely. Raya needs her necklace back, and hey, that's a ship. Horse Girl and Snake Girl? What is this, Caustic Bronco from Outlaws at Thunder Junction? It's a Magic the Gathering card. It's a snake horse, a snorse if you will. Boggart gets slashed a couple of times. We can bring the necklace back to our girl and then teleport up to Volcano Manor. No horseshoes in the house, and we really can't get the shoes off our pony, so I guess he's gotta stay outside. Again! I considered grabbing the Lance Talisman, but there really isn't an incentive when so much of the game requires you to get off your horse.
Okay, I'm gonna try something, and it doesn't count as a death if I goof up and it kills me, okay? Because I didn't have to do it.
Now, for some reason, I thought Loretta's slash made the Volcano Manor skip easier, and maybe it does. It didn't really work for me. First time, it just pushed me off without even making me jump.
Doesn't count. Doesn't count. The interesting thing about that is that it doesn't count.
Second try, same thing happens, but at least I quit out in time. Now the third time, I do jump, but then we just fall and die. Not that it counts. Turns out, I don't really give a shit if it works. Skips aren't my jam, glitches aren't my jam, mods aren't my jam. My jam is casual or near casual level of play to figure out if this game is fun for like normal people, not the elite top 2% of gamers who game harder than everyone else. Nothing wrong with that, but you got a million other creators gaming at your level. I'm here to game mediocrely. Let's meet our ochre against a meaty man, the Godskin Noble. The poise on our armor is so good we can just swing while he swings. I didn't realize how thick this set was. Our ones on the halberd are so cracked, we just keep spamming and it just keeps working. Even the stance pressure is decent, giving us another stance break and setting us up to finish things off with one more Loretta slash for extra style points. It was her slash, Mr. Krabs. She was number one. Spoilers for the end of the video. Rykard time. We could talk about the fight, or I could pass along a nice recipe I enjoy making. Super easy potatoes, but spicy. Have some yellow potatoes, get some big chunks of onion and bell pepper. Those onions are going to be cooking for a while. You don't want to get them too small or they'll burn. Toss it all together in some vegetable oil, then add some salt, pepper, and cayenne pepper to your desired spice level. Put it in a pan to get some color on it, then put the pan in the oven at 350 for about 40 minutes until stuff's tender. It's delicious. The idea is to make it as spicy as you can handle it. Spicy foods are good for your heart, even if they kind of hurt on the way out. More spicy makes you eat slower, drink more water, and feel fuller faster. I'm trying to stay on a calorie deficit. I've got friends and family members getting married later this year, so I want to be able to fit into my suit a little bit better. This is a great meal to stay on that calorie deficit. Rykard's dead. Okay, now it's time for the Ainsel River main, and regrettably, Loretta seems down pretty bad for Malenia. I know that we just read in the lore that she's at the Haligtree to help the Albernerics, but come on, you buying that? Don't need anything until Astel, so we can just hold circle. I sure would love it if this game provided some sort of mobility tool to get through these large open areas faster. Like, if you want something from the big area, that's cool, walk through it. But if you're not looking to grab things, God, I'd love like a car, a battle bus. Where are we dropping? On Astel. We're hitting the back of the head and getting grabbed. Will that be the first death of the run?
Not this time.
God, big armor is so nice. You really can afford to make so many goofball moves. I even tried to greed in at the end and live the teleport, only to greed into the meteor and also remain unpunished. Pretty sure I'm just immortal at this point. Hey, gargoyles make me stay away. Let's use some of our blue spells that have range. Every sword of Carrion Phalanx hits for a combined 459 damage. One jump attack after that does 653 damage. Now on one hand, the jump attack comes out faster, does more damage, does more stance pressure, and requires no expendable resource. But Carrion Phalanx is good because it's it's good. I'd never say it's bad. We get a stance break right before Gargoyle number 2 drops, and then it flies behind a rock. Then it flies on top of the rock. Oh, Carrion Phalanx is good because after casting it, I don't have to recast it to make it fire. I guess it could just fire when I initially cast it, but it's good. It's good. Wouldn't say it's bad. Skill issue if I say it's bad. What, just because the numbers are worse? Let's try to get off Loretta's mastery. First time does poorly because the boss jumps into our face and hits us. Skill issue. The boss wouldn't be able to move if I was simply better at the game. We land one point blank range because it misses. Honestly, we had 3 more flasks. I was just gonna fuck around and try to win with the funny moves. Probably would have done more damage if the gargoyle had more health, I'm sure. Obviously, the super giant great bow spell is gonna do good damage to justify the low casting speed and high FP cost. Pop the ants, then go fight Fia's champs. Cool move. You can load up the Carrion Phalanx before they spawn in so that they're ready, and then they whiff and fire before the NPCs fully spawn in. Loretta slash stun locks the NPCs, does a ton of damage to them, has super armor to power through the first stray hit they send in. I don't think I need to explain why that's good. Time for the Royal Capital. Hey Corey, you got a needle drop for Loretta? This build is already super cranked in terms of level, so we're skipping the Erdtree avatar and going right to fight Godfrey Shade instead. All the Carrion Phalanxes hit for 441 damage, then one R1 hits for 518 damage. Not a jump attack, Standard R1. Actually, scratch that was a rolling R1, so it's weaker. We should save our magic for Morgoth. Who knows if there's a grace in between. So let's just use the R1s then. Then back up, and back up to fire Loretta's Mastery right at the end. It's a great spell for when the boss is almost dead and you need to use the spell so a bunch of the angriest little nerds don't get angrier at you. They're already angry at me. But if I use this kit, they'll get less angry? Maybe? Worth a shot. More like worth a got. It's lore versus more time. I'm doing my due diligence and turning on the phalanx. It's useful if we need to back off, but when the damage is that low, is it? Yes. Spells are good. Do not believe your eyes. They lie to you. Spells don't need special investment. I sure hope they don't, because damn, we have 60 intelligence at this point, and the catalyst is supposed to be boosting the damage. What damage does this do without the boosted catalyst? What will the copium be this week? Not that I said it's bad. I would never say it's bad. It's a good spell. These spells are all good. 4 Biden lands. Nothing for old Brandon today, but we got the news that Donald Jonald was found guilty in all 34 charges midstream. That's really funny. It's really a race to the bottom, and they're both on horseback. Just kidding. They're both way too old to be riding horses. Honestly, even on a horse, Mountaintops of the Giants is too big. Elden Ring 2 needs a bullet train. Fire Giant time 0%. Magic resistance. It's a magic build's favorite fight. The phalanx goes up to hit the eye. That's neat. But we should save our FP for phase 2 and just hit our ones. Oh yeah, that's good conservation. Okay, let's try Loretta's Mastery at the beginning of phase 2 when he's got plenty of health. We can aim it up at the face, which will stop one of the shots from hitting the ground. It doesn't do very much, but that's okay. It's not about damage or efficiency for FP. It's about, maybe we should save our FP for phase 3. Maybe there's a phase 3. I don't know. I've never fought this guy before. Just use the halberds R1s. They're so good as a backup option for Loretta's spells. Kind of like how pizza is a great backup dinner if you run out of thumbtacks. Lest you think we're doing bad with the spells because we're investing in the halberd. No. We should actually be investing in strength, if anything, since we'll be two-handing all the time. Now we'll get a bigger multiplier going because of the two-handed bonus. We started with intelligence first, the casting damage stat, and then dexterity. The casting speed stat. The spells are still great. I'm just bad at the game, so they're doing less damage to spite me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Bring in Bernie for the Godskin duo and focus on Heretic Meatball. Trading is neat. I like trading. We eventually trade enough for the win, then start sniping with the mastery from the high ground, and it's so good at giving the Blasphemy Noodle enough time to live and summon his meatball back. Enough goofing around. If Bernie dies, we get ganked. So I'm gonna use the halberd and take this a little more seriously, and it works great because Loretta Sickle's really, really good. Swag jump, bird run. Hey, Loretta Great Bow Tech. You can shoot birds with it.
Wow.
Malekith should be fun. We have reach, so we won't be getting zoned out, even if his dagger is still longer than our halberd. Save the stance break for phase 2 and keep going. It gets really close to being really bad, but it's not bad. Still deathless. Gideon stands still. Let's charge up for a full mastery and 800 damage. Then get 1300 damage for free by stun locking him with Loretta's Slash. Godfrey time. Get on in there and save the FB for phase 2. We might need it. The R1s hold up surprisingly well, as does our health, because NG plus Daddy is slamming us with everything. Stance break acquired. I decide to rip 2 Loretta Slashes as he winds up the earthquake, which hits us in the air. We were jumping. That doesn't count. Phase 2, he goes for the earthquake, and okay, let's phalanx, I guess. Did it help us get the stance break? I don't know. It didn't hurt. The crit probably hurt though. Yikes. This thing is longer than one of those COVID testing sticks. We really got up in Godfrey's brain there. We've been skipping the pickles since we're already stupid over leveled, but for Elden Beast, we gotta have a pickle for the Elden Beast. Obviously, we're saving FP for phase 2 as well, fighting Radahn. It's why we're not using our amazing spells and instead using this terrible R1 that's fast and hits really hard and has great stance pressure and great reach. Then we get comboed. Skill issue. Phil is bad. He's almost dying to NG plus Radahn. What a scrub. We get it done and almost get camera beasted during the fire breath of Elden Beast, but hey, we livin'. Then it just kind of stands there. What are you doing, buddy? It runs really far away, so let's hit it with the mastery. And by hit it with the mastery, I mean hit it with half the mastery because the other half just explodes on the ground, which is good because of RNG manipulation. I'm doing things extra sloppy here, but once we get the stance break, it's time for R1 City. Just a full-on combo, and 25% of his health gets chopped away. Elden Stars aren't a threat if you just ignore them. Honestly, you just need vigor. That's it. All right, it's so close to death, we can finish this off with one more mastery. Okay, one more mastery.
It's so bad!
Okay, one more mastery. Okay, one more great bow. There we go. I did it with the spells. Is everyone happy now as we head into the super bosses? Malenia, Mold, Placidusax, and Fortisax. Oh, four. Four, huh? Wait, Fortisax counts as a super boss? You sure about that, big dog? Did you just want there to be 4 of them for the needle drop?
You got me.
Some of them are locked behind Nile, so let's hit the castle's hole. Phalanx misses Nile's goons as they spawn in. Why didn't they just target Nile? He's been here the whole time. It just takes a few slashes to beat up his boys, and then we beat him like Loretta beat him on the Patreon poll. You get to vote for stuff on the Patreon. He was up against Loretta. Loretta won. And it's also funny, because they were on a poll together, and they both use pole arms. Another homophone? This script is full of them. Old man dies pretty easy, and then the Penguin Noble is also easy. Actually, easier. We didn't miss the Penguin Noble. We'll get even Mo wins in Mogwin, which is probably why they call it that. Let me just Google that to make sure. Okay, apparently the dude in charge here is named Moog. All right. Start with the Loretta Great Bow and get 900 damage, which is like 2 R1s. Pretty huge. Okay, actually, no sarcasm. Loretta's Great Bow can be a decent ranged option against bosses that start super far away and don't move quickly. The game doesn't have a lot of those, but it does work there. R1s and weapon arts work better against Moog after the fight starts, though, letting us get an easy win. Trying to hit Plassey with the mastery just gets us domed by lightning. Not totally true. We did get a whole 600 damage off. Yay. Saving the magic for phase 2 is a great strat. These R1s might only do more damage than our spells, but they also don't cost a resource. Spacing is unfortunate for the Omega Laser, but we jump over it. Oh my god, I am sick. How do people think I'm bad at this game? Do you not see these gamer reflexes? That's how I got a victory royale, baby. Carrying study hall. I think Loretta would rather study hauling capacity, aka horsepower, aka third homophone. Fortisax is an awesome boss to use spells against. He's not good at approaching, and you can hit his head with them. This isn't a joke. I'm not being sarcastic or mean to spells. Not that I was earlier either. Obviously, I think they're always great forever. But this is where I found out that mastery is fully dog water. Like, Great Bow only does slightly less damage, but charges much faster and costs way less magic to get off. Turns out, maybe there's a reason archers only shoot 1 arrow at a time instead of just loading the entire quiver. I don't know. Seems weird. Also, Fortisax is kind of the only boss that like stands still and doesn't walk up and you can just shoot him in the head. The other bosses move. Disappointment in the liturgical town, our capped intelligence modifier, and maxed out staff with our giant, slow-ass spell, can't kill the archers, whose bones are too frail to walk. Skill issue. I should simply tell the game to make them do more damage. Sorry to have let you all down. Light every torch and then hit the Haligtree. Bow is great for hitting a snail that can't move. How can you say it's bad? Now we can fight ourselves and lead with a few arrows as she approaches. Then just kind of hit her with the polearm. Horse warriors are weak to polearms. There isn't an official damage bonus in this game, but that's just historically how it works. That's why it's a damage bonus in other games. The big pole keeps you away from the big scary horse. But we do finish it with a mastery. It's more of a disrespect, like kicking someone off a ledge with Luigi's taunt in Smash Bros. Still deathless as we go into Malenia, and I immediately quit because I'm taking this seriously. So seriously. Look at our current runes. If we can just get 10 more runes, maybe from one of the birds.
We were on the verge of greatness. We were this close.
Hey, hopefully that's not a metaphor for coming so close to a new milestone, only to fail at the last hurdle. Malenia time. She leads with an uppercut, and I want to see if the slash knocks her over. It does not. But the reach on this thing is really great for hitting her, keeping the pressure up and getting a stance break. The phalanx is not good for damage, it's just to maintain pressure from going down if she were to, oh I don't know, do the ducky dance. That pays off, we get another stance break, crit, and I can hit her as she stands up to go into phase 2. Loretta's mastery for the onion, we don't have a lot of other options, but goddamn, maybe we should have just saved the FP. Now it's just a matter of spacing. For once, we have a weapon that's longer than hers. Foul Dance is really bad, but it doesn't kill us. Unfortunately, it goes right into Attack of the Clones at melee range. That we also live! This armor is really the gift that keeps on giving. Stance break, but sometimes the game forgets how to crit Malenia. It's so silly sometimes. She's not going for the second onion until way later. Then we hit the mastery again for like some damage, I guess. Really should have just gone with the great bow, I think. She's so close to being down, but we get a melee whirlwind and have to double chug, whip a slash, and get hit with the Foul Dance in the corner. First death of the run. Remember everybody, you can't spell saddle without sad. Let's try it again and focus more on hitting with the halberd. It's awesome getting a crit really fast and immediately making her ducky us. Well, remember everyone, you can't spell hoof without oof. Third attempt crit ducky dance. What a fun pattern. Then we get an uppercut though, and that's great. Another crit, big slash from us, and get impaled while healing. Then duckied all the way down from full. To be fair to me, that time she hit it against the wall. I literally could not ring around her rosy. I guess you can't spell bridle without L. Attempt 4, we get a stance break while behind her, but don't get the crit.
Of course Loretta can't get back shots on Malenia. That's like her whole lore.
Real talk though, why does Glintblade Phalanx Ash of War get 40 stance pressure? Are they different blue magic swords than the Carrion Glintblades? Whatever. We have 3 flasks for phase 2. This one is just out of our hands. I'll still try though. Worst case scenario, we get some practice runs in. Spacing's a big help. We can avoid 2 Foul dances, then she onions. And immediately onions again? Okay. Camera messes us up, so no bow punish there. Time for a 3rd Foul dance that we somehow live. And a 4th onion? The onions are fine. They're like the easiest attack to punish, but damn, girl does not care about her breath today. It's gotta be stinky. I tried to finish it off with a big slash, but she had a little more health. So we have to do it with one more R1, which is fitting. I really like these R1s. Just pretend it was the slash though, for cinema reasons. We ended up beating 30 bosses in 4 hours and 30 minutes and only died 3 times, which means folks, we got a new #1 build. That's really fast. We didn't die a lot, that's pretty good. Why was it so good? Reach. Reach is great. You stay further back and can still hit stuff, but even when the stuff gets in, we had big armor and big health to keep us alive. Only way you could make it better is with better spells. Night Comet, Magic Glintblade, the good ranged spell options. Carrion Phalanx is embarrassing. Why are you so bad when the Glintblade Phalanx Ash of War exists? Even the Carrion Great Blade one, the one with the 3 Great Blades, still does less stance pressure than Glintblade Phalanx and requires a ridiculous amount of intelligence investment when you can do Glintblade Phalanx on just any sword after you talk to Rajir for beating Godric. That's all you have to do? What the fuck? Why is it so bad? Loretta's Great Bow is actually alright. It's just slow and only useful in like a few boss fights. Mastery is useless because Great Bow is better, but all of them are ass when you could just use Night Comet or Magic Glintblade. Overall though, the build's really carried by the halberd, because Lord knows it couldn't be carried by the horse. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, subscribe for more DLCs on the horizon. We'll be doing that. Join the Patreon to support the channel and get some extra videos if you like videos. I bet you do. You just watched the video. And follow us on Twitch to hang out when we play the DLC.